What's up, guys? This is Bobby Douglas, and we are back again today with another 2020 NBA Draft Prospect full game video breakdown. And remember, we watch the full games to get a better look at the prospect in question. Today, it's going to be Tyrese Maxey from Kentucky. But again, these full games really help us understand the prospect for what he actually is. Instead of looking at highlights or just segmented clips as part of a scouting report, we get to see the strengths and weaknesses of various players as they occur throughout the game and what situations they happen in and under what circumstances. So I hope that makes sense as to why I'm showing full games instead of just clips. And yeah, so again, today we got Tyrese Maxey. He's a guard from Kentucky, very high character, highly intelligent player, freshman, top 10 recruit, I want to say, in the country coming into this past season. Really good in between game. He's really good at finishing floaters and finishing around the rim. He's a pretty good on-ball defender despite his 6'3" frame. He's got long arms that help him bother perimeter guards. And then in terms of his weaknesses, he only shot 29% from 3 this year, and his shot is very low in terms of where he releases it. I think he needs to maybe adjust that a little bit. But then again, he is capable of hitting threes. It's been perceived for him to just be a down year this year in terms of shooting the ball. We've seen a lot of guys struggle with the adjustment to the college three in the past and turn out to be fine NBA shooters. But again, the low release does worry me a little bit. And then also, he isn't really a true point guard, I would say. I think he's more of an off-ball guard. And at 6'3", I wonder about his viability at that spot because he didn't really show a whole lot of promise in terms of handling point guard responsibilities at Kentucky. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops his NBA game and NBA role as his career unfolds. So with that, let's get into the video. And the game we're watching today is Michigan State, and this is the first game of Tyrese Maxey's college career. And you would think he'd be a little bit nervous, things like that, but he wasn't. He had 26 points and I think 5 rebounds with 1 assist and a steal and 1 turnover in 32 minutes against the preseason number 1 ranked team, which was Michigan State. And I'll start the video right here. But he had 26 points, was probably the best player on the floor for either team in this game. And he just, didn't shy away from the moment, played hard. And again, he didn't even start in this game. So I skipped ahead to 15:25 is when he first came in because he wasn't starting at the beginning of the year for Kentucky. It took him 3 games to start. And then after that, he started every single game. So again, he's guarding Cassius Winston right now. Obviously, we know a lot about him. We've seen him play in several games. Good active hands right there, knocking the ball out of Xavier Tillman's hands. Fighting over screens. So Nick Richards and Maxey were kind of doubling Winston off that screen. And again, Maxey was only a 42% field goal shooter, which isn't that great. But he is very good at getting to the rim. He's not necessarily a first step burst type of player. He's more of just a crafty, knows how to get to his spots and finish type of player. He's not going to blow by you with speed. But again, he's just really good at contorting his body midair and just putting up viable shots at the rim. Really good at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. I think he has 10 free throws in this game. Or 10 or maybe, around 10 in this game. So that's something to watch for as well. So yeah, there's just a lot of things to like about Tyrese Maxey. I have him 15th on my big board right now. So again, he's running point right now with Emmanuel quickly off the ball. A lot of times, I think later in the season, they would run Maxey quickly and Higgins at the same time, and they would pretty much have Higgins run point. We got a charge here. And again, so in this game, Khalil Whitney starts. So that's interesting as well. And remember, Khalil Whitney left in the middle of the season for Kentucky after just falling out of the rotation completely. And I do have him as a top 100 prospect. Actually, I have him number 100 on my board right now. So that's just something to keep in mind. So again, now he's on Kyle Aaron since Higgins just switched in, and he's the better on-ball defender. Both Higgins and Maxey are really good on the ball. But Higgins is that's his specialty, so he's guarding the better offensive player. And Maxey, again, he's probably giving up 2 or 3 inches to Kyle Aaron's. But, with his length and his just feistiness on defense, he can hang with those types of players. There was one person I saw who said that Tyrese Maxey had shades of Kyle Lowry, and ever since I saw that, I couldn't really get it out of my head, and right there, that's a turnover, just a miscommunication on Maxey's and Montgomery's part. But ever since I heard him compared to Kyle Lowry, it kind of just made perfect sense for me. Again, kind of like a stumpy six, like around six. I think Lowry's around 6 feet, right? Maxey's a little bit stronger and longer and taller. But again, they're both very good defenders, both really crafty around the rim. Lowry is a better shooter at this stage than Maxey and a better distributor. But I do think I see the parallels there. Maxey's really going to need to work on his overall passing ability. He had a few games with north of 6 or 7 assists, but overall he was a 3-assist-a-game guy, which isn't bad considering he's playing off the ball. But a lot of teams aren't really convinced he can run point in the NBA based on what he showed at Kentucky. So you got a foul, and then I think that's on Khalil Whitney. Yeah. I just remember after this game, the next morning, they were back at Kentucky in their campus, and there was a picture of he and Ashton Hagen just walking to their 9 a.m. class. And, like, I love stuff like that. I love seeing, like, the athletes, like, going to class and, like, doing things like that. And Maxey was a really smart kid. I think he finished in the top, like, close to the top of his class at his high school. So it's cool to see, these athletes also, like, valuing academics and things like that. Because there's a lot of them, these guys work so hard. Like being a Division I athlete on its own is really hard, but being a college student as well is next to impossible. So, when you see guys making the effort publicly, he really carries the torch for a lot of student athletes that are really working hard. So it's cool to see things like that. We got free throws here, so I'll skip ahead. Or are there free throws? No, they're not. And there's Johnny Juzang, who I actually like as a prospect, even though he committed to UCLA. I believe he transferred. I think he could be an NBA player in a few years. We got another foul here. Luckily, they're not in the bonus yet, so. So again, Maxey's in the corner. Looks like we got an illegal screen set by Nick Richards. Nick Richards is another guy who I really like as an NBA player. I think he really is a good, solid big guy, decent toucher on the rim. Really improved his free throw shooting a whole lot since he's been at Kentucky, which I really like. And again, he's a really good rim protector as well. Questions about his motor do persist, but overall, I think he is a totally different player than he was his freshman year. So I really like that about him. This game actually features a whole lot of prospects on my board. I want to say Maxey, Quickly, Higgins, Richards, Winston, Henry, Tillman. So that's 7. That might be the most in a game that I've watched with you guys thus far. So yeah, 7 prospects in my top 100 right now. And I think EJ Montgomery also declared, but I don't have him in there at this moment in time. So we got more fouls here. I think they're shooting, so I'll skip ahead here. Most of Maxey's minutes come in the second half. I think he plays pretty much all but the first 2 minutes because remember, he's not starting at this point in the season. And remember, this is his first game, so you expect there to be some miscues. We saw one miscommunication he already had with EJ Montgomery. Ooh, he tried to, yeah, so right there, he tried to shoot the gap and try and blindside, I think that was Tillman with the steal, but he ultimately missed. Probably not the best gamble to make right there, considering he's leaving an open shooter and cutter on the wing. I'm sure he'll get an earful about that from Calipari, but So he's out again right here, and then he comes back in at 28-46. So I'll skip ahead to there. So again, this is a lineup that you saw a lot more this season at Kentucky. It's the three-headed backcourt with Maxey, Quickly, and Higgins, and then it's Richards and Montgomery on the blocks, with Richards being pretty much the traditional back-to-the-basket big man, and then Montgomery being the type of tweener that you see. And then Sestina's another one who would also, let's see, he's going to come in for Richards. So now they're going pretty small. You would get Keon Brooks in there, and then Juzang played in spots here and there. I'll skip this free throw. So here's Maxey again. Most of his points came off of free throws in this half, I want to say. And again, he was seen after this game. He had a really good stretch to open the season. He was seen as maybe a top 5 prospect in this class. I remember there were a lot of boards that had the top 4 intact, and it was Wiseman, Edwards, Ball, and I want to say it might have been Cole Anthony at that time too. And then Maxey was seen as the bridge between Tier 1 and Tier 2. And then he kind of fell off towards the end of the season. A lot more of his limitations athletically and just in terms of his skills, shooting, passing, things like that. They were a lot more exposed in conference play. And his stock fell a little bit, not catastrophically, but instead of being looked at as a top 5 to 7 prospect, now he's considered around I would say the 12 to 22 range, around there. I have him 15 on my board right now. So around there is probably where I would slot Maxey. So it's Keon Brooks with the 3. That's a miss. So again, now Maxey's on Rocket Watts, who's another freshman. That time he got good time recovering. He got Bingham set a back screen on him, and he was kind of pushed off the spot a little bit. But he did a good job recovering to Rocket Watts, and then right there he couldn't really do anything about that pick and roll with Winston and Bingham. So again, you see Maxey isn't really running the point, and they use him as an off-ball guard, which probably is not his ideal role in the NBA given his size. And again, they're running off of screens and trying to get him open for shots and everything, and he's only a 29% three-point shooter. If that shot improves, that's fine, but if it doesn't, that's not really a valuable part of his game. Right there, he had a really good floater in the lane. Again, I think he has the best in-between game in his class, and what I mean by that is that he's really good out of mid-range, really good with floaters and just using his creativity around the rim to get open shots and knock them in. Really good at finishing and ones. So I really like his in-between game. Again, best in the class in my opinion. You look at a guy like Lonzo Ball, and he only shoots 3s and layups, right? So Maxey is almost the opposite. He's really like a mid-range operator, really good at creating floaters and things like that. He had the right idea with that pass right there. A little bit of a tight window, but I like the thought there. So yeah, right there, that's not really on Maxey. I don't know how many times we need to see it. Jeez. So again, Maxey's playing off the ball. Turnover on Higgins, it looked like. Switch on to Bingham, then good job communicating that switch. Now he's on Foster Lawyer. And here he is. So now he's on the ball. That time he could have gotten that steal. Looked like if he just took his hand out. Looks like another and one. Oh, offensive foul. That time he had a little bit of a tough time getting over screens. It's really his length that's more bothersome than his speed. His foot speed for a guard isn't elite, But again, his length will help him bust up certain plays. He averaged just under a steal a game, which isn't super jaw-dropping. But again, I do like his combination of length and smarts. So that was Richards out of the post, missed a little jump hook there. So here's Maxey, and he's going to pull up from NBA range and drills that. Again, this was a really good shooting game for him. I think he was 4 of, I want to say he was 3 of 7 from 3 in this game, which is very good for him, considering he only shot 29% on the year. He does have NBA range because his shot release is pretty low, so he gets a lot more power on it. So I'm not really worried about the range necessarily. I'm more worried about the accuracy. And obviously, I do worry about him getting his shots off at the NBA level because of that low release. And I'm a lot more concerned about that than most people seem to be. Again, that's just a bomb from NBA range, probably past NBA range. So again, I do think he has his shot in him. You know what I mean? It's not broken by any means. You know, we saw a similar thing with De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox was horrible from the three-point line in college, but he ends up, now he's a very good NBA shooter. I think he's around 36 or 37% from 3 this season. So it developed for him. So Maxey is one of those guys I do think it could happen for him. Right there, did a good job just using his creativity to kind of avoid contact, still drew the foul there. But again, he's just really creative in the air in terms of finishing ability. Doesn't really have max verticality and not a super athletic guard, but he just is really creative and intelligent and knows how to get to his spots on the floor. And then free throws, I think he was an 83% free throw shooter. Yeah, 83% from the line. So that's very solid. And so that's another reason why I'm not super worried about his college three-point shot. I'm less worried about the accuracy of his shot than I am about the form of his shot, if that makes sense. I think his form will limit him in terms of getting it off, but I think the accuracy will be there if he gets enough space. Using his length to harass Winston right there. Let's see what he does here. Again, good job feeling out the screens. That time he fought right through it. You pull up for 3 again. That time, that was a force. And again, if you're 20... obviously, this is the first game of the year, but I don't like that shot at all. Good job contesting on that Winston 3. Oh, that's tough from Sestina. So, and here's Maxey running point because he's with, I believe that's Quickly. And that was an illegal screen on Richards. So again, Maxey on Richards. Good job right there. He got a little bit handsy and looked like he was anticipating the screen a little bit too much. And so that's going to be... So I don't know what number foul that is on Maxey, but he's going out right here. So I'll skip ahead to 43-20 is when he comes back in. He's getting an earful from Cal, probably. So again, this is a very common lineup that Kentucky will run out. Again, the three-headed backcourt really did well for them this year when they all started together. I had Kentucky as a Final Four team, if the season would have happened, or would have concluded the way it should have. But obviously, we didn't get to see that happen. It's a big shot from Quickly. Quickly really evolved into a. Some people are calling him a first-round pick now. I'm not sure I'm willing to go that far with it, but he really came on strong in SEC play. I think he was SEC Player of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. Good job from Maxey going straight up and kind of walling up. Made Bingham go around him, which is pretty much all you can do in that situation. That time I would have liked to see him attack a little bit more, because I think he could have gotten middle on that drive, but it wasn't a bad decision to kick it out to Higgins. We got a foul here, so I'll skip ahead these free throws. Good physical board from Maxey right there. Let's see what he does here. Looks like they tried to set him through an elevator screen right there. Let's see what he does. So again, right there, he's very comfortable taking those types of floaters. Those shots that you don't think really should go in by watching him, they will go in. Again, he's a very solid, tough shot maker in terms of being contested and being able to finish around the rim. That one, it didn't go in, but again, he's willing to take those floaters, very comfortable taking those shots. And I think that'll probably serve him well in the NBA. That time you got the floater again. Good job drawing the foul there. Again, most of his points in the first half come off of free throws. I think he's hit a 3 and a floater, and I think he hit 2 free throws, and these will be 3 and 4, I want to say. Again, a really good job just getting to his spot. Again, really good at using subtle ball fakes, eye fakes, things like that to just get by his man. Not going to be a blow-by guy, but just tough, smart, clever. It's really all you need. I remember I bet on this game too, actually. It was part of a parlay on opening night, and it was I had Kentucky beating Michigan State, and I had Kansas beating Duke. Kansas lost to Duke, so I was mad. So I doubled down and I put Kentucky money line, and luckily they pulled it out for me. So Tyrese Maxey, with his performance tonight, he was anointed as one of my favorite players of this college basketball season. Good job getting a late contest up there. Had to run around a lot of screens. Let's get back to his man. Let's see what he does here. So again, those are the types of looks he's going to need to hit in the NBA, because I don't think he'll get a lot of opportunities off the dribble. Whoa, that would have been... Ooh. So those are shots he needs. And again, you just saw it was just off to the right. And so I think, again, with more reps, just getting a little bit more experience with the shot. And yeah, Calipari's telling him to drive that shot, and he totally should have. So good, Maxey's on Ahrens. Looks like they got a travel call out of it. We got a timeout here. There's Tom Thibodeau, Kevin Durant. So again, now Maxey's running point because he's the only guard on the floor right now. You got Keon Brooks and Khalil Whitney as your wings, and Juzang is another wing. Good job using that crossover. Looks like he drew another foul right there. Lost the ball going up, but again, really good job just being very deliberate in his movements, selling defenders more than beating them, and it accomplishes the same it accomplishes the same result, right? An open drive towards the lane. He does that, and he gets another 2 free throws out of it. I want to say he's 6 of 6 from the line now. So now Maxey's on Lawyer for the final 15 seconds of this half. Yeah, timeout. This was a very slow-moving game. So Maxey's now on Winston. Let's see what he does here defensively. That looked like a designed switch, and we got a foul here. So I think Michigan State is shooting free throws here, so I'll skip this. Final 5 seconds. I think Maxey gets a shot up here, so that's why I'm playing these last 5 seconds. There we go. That time he almost hit it. That was a decent shot for 5 seconds left. So that's the end of the first half. I'll pause the video here, and then I will continue this video with the second half of this game, where we will continue to watch Tyrese Maxey. And in the second half, he is very good. In the second half, he hits a really clutch 3 towards the end of the game. Finishes with 26 points, so that's something to stay tuned for. So again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you for the second half in a little bit.